What am I to do?
Welcome to He Said, She Said Razor Branding Podcast with Michael Russo and Jackie Russo. To learn more about how to improve your brand, visit brandRUSSO.com.
Michael, our guest today, as you have learned, is exactly who she says she is. She is a ray of sunshine.
Yeah, and more than just, obviously she's a marketing expert working for a very large company, doing very cool things and doing them very well from what it appears. But above and beyond that, just I think you and I both agree it's always fun when you come across somebody that's authentically who you think they are and they don't disappoint.
Yes.
And with a name like Sunshine, you expect a lot of things, and she delivers.
Yes. But her work in a very technical, very specific healthcare industry, global company requires brains. It requires a lot of forward strategic thinking, and she delivers on all that and more, but she explains it in such a way that I just wanted more of it. Sometimes people start talking about the details and you're thinking, ooh, are you about done? I didn't want her to stop talking. She was great.
Yeah, and there was one point towards the end where she's talking about, somebody asked her, well, why are we going to these trade shows if they're not working? And my response was, well, because that's what we always do. And that happens so often, where people are just, that's what we do. That's what we're comfortable with. That's what we're going to keep doing. And I'm not saying you should constantly be risk taking and trying brand new things with your marketing, but you have to be able to step outside your comfort zone every once in a while, especially if you hire a consultant or somebody that's going to come in and bring you advice. If you trust them with the advice, listen to them. And then hopefully you can try some new things, test them, see if they work. But just because you've done it in the past, usually is going to be very stagnant. And you have to be able to take leaps forward in order to see results. And they're not always going to work. But through the process of trial and error and figuring things out, you're going to find the right one, and you're going to find great gains with that.
Yeah, for sure.
But Sunshine was great, though. Yeah, like I said, just cool. And she's a surfer and just fits the mold,
She's so much cooler than us.
Oh, yeah. She gave us the hand sign in the back.
I know.
I wish I was cool to do that. I'd be like, hey, guys, take care. Was it hang loose?
Yeah.
Is it this way? This way?
I think
we have
you
the
can do it
Raging
either way.
Cajun. We have the, go Cajuns.
Right.
But that's like a whole nother. And she did it
And
like,
it was automatic.
It was like
she didn't even think
all
about
right,
it.
guys. Yeah, it was like kind of a sideways thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it was so
No.
cool.
So she's cooler than us, but she's super smart. So y'all stick around and let a little ray of sunshine into your lives.
To do when the day is through.
Sunshine, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much for having me. Excited to talk today. Jump in, getting all things marketing.
Exactly. And I've been so excited since we first talked for all the things marketing. And I'm just going to dive right into asking you to do a little bit of a kind of an overview of your marketing background, Nanosonics, what y'all do, so that we can kind of go from there.
Yeah, I'd love to. Little bit of a different background, but I think that's common in marketing, right? Like no one kind of takes a traditional path. It's not like engineering or finance, accounting, things like that. So actually, I started my career in the surf industry, very different. So that was senior project, undergraduate in college, jumped into the surf industry, worked there, jumped into publishing, into brand management at athletic apparel company. That's a mouthful. And then made my way over to life sciences, where I worked at Thermo Fisher Scientific for 10 years and basically learned the science on the job, which was amazing. And a great mix there of people with a business and marketing background and people with a science background. And we all kind of upskilled each other in different areas. And then most recently moved over to Nanosonics, which is medical device in the infection prevention space. So right now our flagship product is it's high-level disinfection for ultrasound probes. So if you've ever been at the doctor's office, been in the hospital, they use them for a lot more than just pregnancies. It's used across the hospital, all areas. And you just want to make sure that that thing is properly disinfected before it's used on you. And otherwise, there's a lot of hospital-acquired infections, a lot of bad bugs that you can be getting. So pretty interesting to go from the life sciences space over here, where we're still doing a lot of molecular cell biology kind of pieces with those microorganisms.
With such a technical business, I'm sure that your science team has this propensity to talk science. And, healthcare specifically, we want to get in and educate people, educate people. But marketing is about persuading people. How do you balance those two languages?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. Because I go back to people buy on emotion and justify logic,
Yes.
no matter where you are. I mean, scientists as well. It is,
Yes.
at Thermo Fisher, we have this great book, this whole group that would come in, Persuading Scientists, Marketing to
Ooh,
the World's Most Skeptical Audience. And yeah, it still would talk about you need to connect with people emotionally, but you do need all the facts and figures to then back it up. But where the difference is really how are you leading? And how do you get people hooked first? Where do you start that conversation? And then when do you bring in those details? So scientists, and it's great. I love it. They always want to talk the background and all the little itty bitty details. And especially in a healthcare setting, you're talking to so many decision makers in this process. Like, are you talking to, in our case, it could be the infection preventionists at the hospital. It could be someone in purchasing or procurement. It could be the biomeds running, all the systems there, or it could be the end user. In our case, a lot of times the sonographers or the nurse managers, department managers. So all these people are involved in the sale and they all need to and want to hear a different thing. Sometimes they do want to get very technical, but a lot of times it is, you need to give people the right information at the right level. So
yeah.
it's all about balance.
Absolutely. And, speaking of technical and hospitals, there's a lot of regulation there. You don't have people who are typically sitting in front of a computer. You can't really go by and drop off, donuts like salespeople do. So what's been your kind of system or trick for getting your messages in front of them enough times that they're going to see it and be persuaded?
Yeah, there's a couple elements that come in there. So we do have a very strong sales team that's amazing, and they are covering. We have over 30,000 of the devices across North America installed, and that's in all the major hospitals, 10,000 plus major hospitals, ASCs, private practices, etc. So a great place is stopping in to check on the current install base and taking the conversation from there. So our sales team will jump in there, but like you said, they can't show up with donuts. A lot of times they can't show up even, with materials. So it is a lot of conversations, little notes and follow-ups with then the marketing materials we have. For us, it's been great to utilize, we use HighSpot for distributing the materials, which gives us it's like, the classic, digital asset management, but it's got all the tracking details. So we can see once a sales rep sends a brochure, exactly when it's opened, they get a notification, how long they're looking at the piece, if they forward it, if they come back and open it again. So from a marketing standpoint, it's beautiful. You actually know which of your tools your sales team's using and which of those tools are the customers actually interacting with. But from a more purely marketing perspective, there's a variety of trade shows we go to. We do very heavy with the digital targeting on social channels. So LinkedIn is our biggest one. And of course, we'll target by job types, locations, et cetera, et cetera. And again, really tailoring that message. So if we're targeting the infection preventionists, they're going to have a slightly different message than the sonographers. So that is the right value prop for them.
I love that. And, thinking about conventions and trade shows and conferences, I think that people often miss the opportunity to really use those outlets fully. So, do y'all do anything special kind of as a lead up and as a follow through, or are you just focusing your energy for when everybody's in the room?
We are building that out now. So it's great. The team has really been growing and upskilling over the past few years. And at first, when I first joined, it was a little bit of like, well, hey, I just show there, like get there, get it done and move on. And now we're really putting a system together. So we have all the pre-marketing ahead of time, all the social posts, the emails, etc., and then all the follow-ups afterwards. And definitely having a bit of fun on the show floor too, because that's the other thing is in this space, you can walk down those aisles at the trade show and it starts to look very, very similar. We kind of joke that it's like the sea of blue a lot of times because it's just, the medical blue in every aisle and a lot of little 10 by 10s. So how do you stand out and be different? And especially when you don't have a budget like GE or Philips or Canon, somewhere along those lines. So how do you make a difference at these shows? And that's been a fun challenge for us.
I think, and if I jump in with the success of the product, obviously this was a problem that you guys solved. This was a problem that was going on. And it wasn't just something you could just spray some Lysol on it and wipe it down with, it's a more complex issue. But I think like on your website, for example, you guys do a really good job of walking you through where the problem is and why it's a problem and how to solve that. The product's beautiful itself. It's a really elegant design machine. And it just, like I said, it did just a really good job of that. And I think that's such a huge part of it, right? You want to get people to the point where they can go experience this for themselves and to go through that and educate themselves through the process. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And then thank you for that. Yeah, the website's been something we've been spending a lot of time on and continually improving there because, yeah, in a lot of cases, there is that whole education element of, oh, that's not enough. Because, yeah, there are different levels of cleaning, different levels of sterilization. You probably came across the Spalding classification there and, just what level you need based on how the probe itself is being utilized. I say probe, but it's, really any reusable medical device that goes to. But yeah, the product itself, I mean, it's basically a plug and play. We do a lot of training with our ClinApps, clinical application specialist team, to go in there and make sure the customers, once they have a new purchase, are comfortable with it, get it up and running fast. But honestly, it's the whole point is that, yeah, you can get it, plug it in, start going. And when we show people at trade shows how easy it is, they're blown away. So it's like, oh, that's it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Makes my life easier. Does a good job.
Yeah.
Solves the problem. All good.
Yeah.
Well, it
And it's
prevents.
actually,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's just funny because like I've just been with the company for a few years now, but we have some people that have been on the team for a lot longer, we'll say it that way. And especially when the product first came out, they would have people come up to them at trade shows and hug them and just say, "Thank you. This has made my life so much better." And sometimes even now that still happens with our ClinApps team, with our account managers, that people are so grateful for the difference it's made in their workday that I'm like, that's amazing. I mean, I don't know how many brands where people come up and are like giving you hugs for your product.
Right. Well, and that's the thing, when I think about how important it is to me, the product sells itself. The way that it prevents infection, the way that it prevents some serious, not just medical issues, but financial issues for an institution who's not using it. We've done work for years and years and years with an organization called Quad A. And so they go in and do the inspections and certifications for ambulatory care centers, dental offices, any small surgical center. And so, the details that they would tell us of the horror stories of companies that weren't following proper cleaning procedures and the problems that caused legally, financially, healthcare wise, it's awful. And so to me, it sells itself. So it's an awareness thing. As long as facilities are aware of you, how are they going to say no to that?
Well, I wish it was that easy. It's always, like in a lot of ways. So, there is some of the education around like, oh, this other way, these other wipes aren't good enough. Like, oh, that's just low level. So there is, kind of the awareness of just what needs to be done. And, a lot of medical instruments too, you can autoclave them. But with these electronics, most of them you can't autoclave. You'll just fry the total piece. But yeah, it's getting back to it. So there's a whole awareness of, just what will kill all the pathogens that you need to. But then, in some cases too, there is, at the hospital, there are financial concerns. So there's a lot you have to do with value analysis committees and making the economic argument and, workflows, making sure everyone's comfortable and using it. So it is a little bit on that side. Now, I will say hospitals are a little bit better because they are regulated by the Joint Commission or the DNC, which comes around and, make sure that they're doing everything up to standard. However, a lot of private practice does not have that same level of oversight. And this is probably, some of the horror stories that you've heard or seen come in where it's, everyone's doing the best they can, but there's no one's doing this on purpose. No one's cutting corners, but there's a lot to consider. And so, obviously anytime there's regulations, that'll make people, follow the rules they're supposed to follow.
But from a marketing talk side of it, when it comes to messaging, like what you had said earlier, people are thanking you and saying how much you help them with their daily lives and their jobs. So, yes, the product works. Yes, there's other ways to do it. But is that the sell? Is that the marketing side of the messaging where you lean in on that side of it where we're going to make your lives easier? This is one less thing you have to worry about. This is something that check off the box, move on to the next thing. And knowing that all the other stuff that's really important, probably more important that it's safe, more important that it's clean, more important that it's getting sterilized, all those things that are really more important. But to the person on the ground, it makes my life easier. And where do you weigh those things in when it comes to the messaging side of it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, with our end users, especially, they're going to be curious about how does this affect my day? How does this affect my patients? And so they're going to come back. So a lot of our messages on that too. And we really focus on the model of like, are they in active pain or latent pain? And a lot of times they will, especially the end users, be in active pain. And what's everyone's pain is time. And, what is the time element here? So we'll have a lot of messaging around like your day, your way, and, taking more control of your day. And we'll call out some of the value props in those terms of, hey, it's not just a fluffy headline. Here is how we're backing that up.
Yeah.
Or what the infection preventionists will maybe focus a little bit more on the training and the compliance records, those kind of pieces, because they're at a much higher level. So we actually kind of stratify our customers as well, the persona buckets, if you will. We call it the in our hands of the customers that are actually using the products, in their hands, which is the department managers, the infection preventionists. They might occasionally use the product, but it's more at a team leadership level. And then we'll have supporting hospital teams and like the general messaging for those different segments. So supporting hospital teams might be more concerned with some of the efficiencies and IT issues. But then, the department managers, it's making sure their teams are focused, that they have the tools they need. So it's a little bit different for everyone. But ultimately, you're spot on. At the end of the day, it's really about the patients and patient safety and their workflow.
Yeah, I think for me as a writer, it's always about sometimes a spoonful of sugar mentality, where
Yes.
we're going to give them something sweet early and then give them all the stuff they really need to hear maybe behind it. But we want to grab their attention. We want to connect. We want to have that emotional tie, but we can't just forget about everything else that's really, really important, especially in what you're doing, which is heavy lifting stuff,
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that. Yeah, the spoonful of sugar. And I also like to say, a little bit of fun goes a long way. And, especially a lot of these folks, they deal with some really stressful, serious situations. You can imagine anyone in the hospital, right? And you would even think something, like OBGYN or maternal fetal medicine. And, they're scanning pregnancies, but as you know, every pregnancy isn't successful. And, there's some pretty heavy things that the sonographers will uncover and have to sit through. So I think some of it's also just, taking that step back, letting people breathe and have a little bit of fun. So for instance, at our trade show, we actually have we have a 10-foot tall inflatable of our product and then an 18-foot tall inflatable of it. And it's got a giant transvaginal probe hanging in it. And you can imagine, like, everyone walks by, they see the product, they instantly know it. It's almost like the Coke can design is very, very noticeable. And they love the product and they're like, oh my gosh, this is great. And then they see the transvaginal probe, which is either 5 feet or about 12 feet, depending on the the booth, and it's fun in the booth too. You're like, hey, would you like a picture inside the trophon with a giant transvaginal probe? And they kind of look at me and they're like, yes. Or if they're a little reluctant, it's like, you didn't wake up today knowing you needed this picture, but you clearly do now. And
Absolutely.
you give people a little license to have fun, get in there, do some silly poses, and it's just that little moment of, hey, yes, this is a serious business, but we're also human.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a good reminder. Jack and I talk about this a lot. It's like when we get home and having a really tough day, it's stressful, this, that, client, whatever. At the end of the day, we are not doing that. We are, we can go home and put that aside. We're always going to have a tomorrow to kind of do it over and do it right. But a lot of times when you're in the service industry, you're in the healthcare industry, you have a lot of weight and a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, a lot of real life situational stuff that you can't just put away. It's going to stay with you. And so I can only imagine we did a lot more healthcare earlier on in our agency life. And it was always tough, especially when you're dealing with cancer, people that are dealing with life and death decisions every day. It's just, you have to kind of weigh it all and then assess what you're doing and say, all right, how do I help this and not let it get to me,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of the stories that I've heard, I mean, it's like, bless them, because
Yeah.
I don't think I could take that on. So I 100%, feel for them. And I mean, they're there through some of the amazing, like most amazing experiences. I mean, it's talk about highs and lows, but yeah. So I think, what I try to do too is like, hey, we're talking to people that deal with people at their best and at their worst. And how do we treat them more like people? Like, we're not just talking like numbers and stats and data. Like, it is an inherently people and emotional field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard. All right, I'm gonna get us out of this before I have to go get some tissue, thinking about all the medical challenges. And I'm gonna move us to the challenges of having an international corporate parent while you're U.S. based, and the joys of when you get to go visit them. So tell us a little bit about the pros and cons of that situation.
Well, hold on. Before we get there, I just have to because we skipped over the surfing thing earlier. I was
No,
looking at your
this is the lead into the surfing thing.
but I was looking at your LinkedIn page, and that is so you are badass. I mean,
No,
did you see that
badass,
picture?
yes.
She's all like legit sliding
Dude,
into
I'm the
a-
one that picked her on LinkedIn because of that picture. Come
And
on.
I was going to say that Jackie sees herself as a former surfer. She tells me about her surfing days back in
Okay,
California.
no.
Jackie, how big was the wave you surfed on?
It was about 2.5 feet. My friend Elizabeth and I took surfing lessons, and we managed to each stand up, I think, one time. What Sunshine does is real. What I did was flop around like a seal in a wetsuit. We are not the same.
And on top of that, though, you have like the coolest name ever. I mean, am I saying Makarow right? Makarow? Sunshine Makarow?
Yep.
Sunshine Makarow. I mean, you could have been anything and it would have been cool. Like I'm a
She is
basketball
right
player,
now.
I'm an
She
artist,
is currently famous on our podcast.
Exactly. Exactly.
Podcast
Yeah.
famous, yeah.
Would your mom name you Sunshine? Is that your given name? Sunshine?
It is, yes.
That is awesome.
So I'll actually tell you a little story too. So my sister's name is Music.
Oh my God. That is beautiful.
I am going to
And
take
that's
a
what they
guess
say.
that y'all did not get born and raised in the cold, hard streets of New York. Is it possible you grew up on the West Coast?
We grew up in Malibu.
There it is.
And I mean, Malibu is ground zero for innovative names. So
Among other things.
it wasn't even until I got to high school and went to Santa Monica that it came out that this was an unusual name, because there was another Sunshine in my class in
Oh my
middle school.
gosh.
There was another Sunshine that was older in my karate studio. Like, I mean, there was a lot of like Leaf, River, Phoenix. Like, there was
Sure.
all kinds of unique names in Malibu. So it wasn't until, went to Santa Monica and like they're calling my roll and is that your real name? Yeah, why wouldn't it be?
But your parents did the world a favor with that, because there's probably not a meeting you walk into when you introduce yourself and they don't smile. I mean, you cannot help it. You're like, oh, Sunshine. That's it is a bright, such a positive, affirming name. And like you get to every time somebody says your name out loud, they have a little bit of joy in their heart. And I think that's just such a neat thing, Like Michael, nobody gets excited about Michael.
No.
But sunshine, music, I mean, that's just like awesome. So anyway, love that.
Wait, I'm
And I
going to
will
pull us
say,
off the track real quick. I'm sorry, but we both, Michael and I have both watched, Rob Lowe's special, read his book, the documentary that Charlie Sheen just made. So were you in Malibu around the same time as these guys going to school with them?
so they're a few years older, but it was hilarious because at gosh, I'm trying to think what it's even called now. It was like Malibu Middle School. I think now it's Malibu High School, but they have like kindergarten through 12th grade there. But the time I went, it was kindergarten through 8th grade. And in the middle school, in the office, the 8th grade class would always take a class picture, and we would go and see Charlie Sheen's and Emilio Estevez. And so I think they were probably like 6 years older than me or something, but a lot of the teachers had taught them. So not Rob Lowe, but
Right.
Charlie and Emilio.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, sorry. Back to the surfing office in Australia, working internationally and globally in that challenge. Go.
Yeah. And I will just say thank you for the shout out on the LinkedIn profile. It's kind of funny because a while ago I switched to that. I think for years and years it was my headshot and then some, kind of corporate looking background. And it was actually for this like brief period that I had gone back to work work in the surf industry. And I switched it. I'm like, well, hey, I'm in the surf industry now. Let's have a picture showing them I can walk the walk, talk the talk. And then when I went back to life sciences, I left it up because I'm like, that's a great picture. I like it. And it ended up started like making like waves that people at the company, Thermo Fisher Scientific, would know me. They're like, oh, you're the surfer. Like, and they started doing these presentations, tips and tricks for your LinkedIn profile, because especially in marketing. And if you are a scientist and you're doing these KOL events, doing speaking, like they're always talking about branding yourself and, even on the marketing side. So a lot of times my profile would get used and it would be like, be authentic, show something about yourself. And so that got called out. And when I got recruited for this position at Nanosonics, the recruiter had also mentioned that photo and just seeing the personalities. So I think it goes a lot to, in this day and age, just being authentic and showing that, like, yes, work is very important for you, but what else in your life, and putting that out there so people can connect with you. You're not just a name, a number, like you're a person.
And you walk in with a story. I know our son is a big baseball player, and he was deciding he was a really good high school player. Not great to go. He wasn't going to make pros or anything like that, but he had the opportunity to go play in college. But it would have been like he was deciding what he wanted to do, and he talked to a pitching coach here who played in the pros for a while, and he told him some of the best stuff advice I think I've ever heard somebody give when it comes to that. He said, you should do it because for the rest of your life, when you walk in a room, you have a different story than 90% of the people out there. He said, no matter how successful you are, no matter what you do with that, because it was a small D3 school, it wasn't a big thing, but it was an opportunity to go extend his athletic career. But he said, just that alone is going to give you a different story than 9 other people in the room. And it has. It's opened so many doors for him just because, hey, oh, you play baseball? And everybody connects with that. And all of a sudden they change the way they view with him, just like I'm watching that with you. And I'm like, I don't know anything about surfing, but I know athletes, and there is no way you can hang off a board like that while leaning sideways and cutting into that without being legit. Like either that was photoshopped or you really know what you're doing. So
it's really hard. It's not photoshopped. It's really hard.
The authenticity of that is real. It's not like you're standing on a board. You're like riding the wave, and again, not even knowing surfing. I'm looking at that going, okay, that's somebody who's for real, And so, yeah, but it changes the conversation again. You have a name Sunshine, you're a surfer. All of a sudden, I'm like dying to know more about you, And so that the doors opened on all that. So yeah, exactly. I agree.
Yeah, I love that. And yeah, thanks to my mom for the great branding there with my name and, talking about branding from the get-go. But yeah, I mean, the baseball, same thing. It's like, hey, everyone knows baseball and can connect with it on some level. And it's that opener. It's the, something to get things going. You're not having awkward conversations about the weather or news headlines. It's like you can connect right off the bat on an emotional level.
Yeah.
So I've left it up there, even though my current industry has nothing to do with surfing, but that's who I am. You'll see, I've got the details on there on my jobs and what I'm working on, but hey, this is what really is a big passion of mine. And and drives a lot of things. And yet, Jackie, though, you're a surfer. And I'll say it like this too. It is, it's all what's in your heart. And a lot of times people will say like, what does it mean? Like you played baseball when you're younger, but you can still be a baseball player. You can still go out there, have a little fun. And I kind of laugh at it too. It's like skiing. A lot of people are, I say I'm a snowboarder. If it's a good year, I'll get out 1 or 2 days. I call myself a snowboarder. So it's really, what's in your heart there. And surfing, it really gets down to, there's a saying that the best surfer in the world is the one having the most fun. It's so true because no one can take fun from you. If you're having fun, that's all that matters. Unless you're on the professional world circuit, then that's a different story. But for everyone else, it's all about having a little fun and just having a little more enjoyment in life. There's medical field or not, there's a lot of heavy stuff out in the world. And it's a lot of, coming back to what brings you joy.
Right. No, absolutely. So now I'm going to pull us back to the question I started asking 15 minutes ago about working with an international headquarters and balancing the challenges of the global job. Now, I think we've established the good side, or one of the good sides, is that you get to travel there and go surf in Australia when you go for corporate meetings. Talk a little bit more about that experience.
Yeah. So we'll try to stay focused here and not go into left field. So with the global headquarters, it's actually really changing lately, and I'm very excited about that. We got a new CMO, Kimberly Hill, who just started a few months ago, and our new head of brand and growth, I think she's 5, maybe 6 months in now, Heather Norman. And so before that, it was a bit more of a decentralized model where global was actually a bit more focused on the products and the product life cycle, more on the product management side of the house. But now under Kimberly's leadership, it's really become like one marketing team. So there's the regions, there's global, everyone's working together. So it's still a little bit early days. But that being said, obviously, headquarters is in Australia. That's where all R&D is, all the labs, all the corporate functions. In the region, so North America, and not giving away any company secrets here. If anyone were to look at our investor reports, our annual report, about 90% of our revenue comes from North America. So we are the lion's share here. So what's going on in the North America region really has a lot of impact on the rest of the company. And we've got the biggest install base as well. So these shows, so we're really leading in a lot of ways. And before it was like, okay, you guys do you, we'll do us, and it's fine. But now it's more like, hey, how do we all work together on projects from the get-go? And how do we do things that then can be a little bit more leveraged? So who's ever leading it, whether maybe the EMEA team leads this initiative and then North America's just helping, Global's playing this role, or, maybe now North America's leading. So it's really kind of refining like who's leading, who's supporting, how are things being used. Obviously, there's always regional nuances and what we can say here. They've got much more strict standards on what they can say in Australia. So, and Europe's got different rules as well. So there's always those nuances. But from that perspective, it's, working much more together as one team. And one of the big pieces we're working on now is we've got another product coming out that should be hopefully, pretty soon here. And so it's going to get us into a new space still in medical instrument reprocessing, but we're really looking to elevate our brand so that we can take, some of that halo from the current brand and apply it, since there will be new departments in the hospital that we're talking to. So this is a big piece that Heather's leading. And, obviously I'm very passionate about this. So sometimes whether she likes it or not, I'm weighing in and providing lots of feedback.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, and I think that's amazing. I think that having new leadership can be both invigorating and exciting, which is how you're taking it, but sometimes it can be scary. And so as you've had these new people join the team, how have they kind of hit the ground running with establishing a new approach to the strategy, a new approach to planning for 26? Like, what's that process been like?
Yeah. So a lot of it, you come in, you got to kind of get your bearings at first. So Especially, when Heather came in, it was under different leadership and, she was getting going with some pieces and then not too much longer. And it tends to be a drop in the deep end or sometimes just drop in the middle of the ocean, depending on what's going on. And Kimberly did a big round the world tour had some pretty intensive meetings to see what was going on. And I think this is what you can really tell with leadership as well, how quickly people pick things up, not only the business, but reading between the lines. And it was just, this is definitely not like a puff piece of me looking good for my boss, but honestly, she's very impressive with, how quick she has come up with all elements of the business and then made changes to better reorg and realign everyone for maximum impact. So I think a lot of it just goes to that leadership and like, hey, you don't want to act too fast, but you also don't want it to wait too long. So what is that sweet spot? Like a lot of things in life, you can't really define it, but
Right.
but you got to try to nail it.
Right. No. And and I think, you make a good point though, that arriving on the scene, getting acclimated, that's always the important first step. It's not about changing everything that everybody else has been doing. It's about learning what they've been doing and then making the transitions towards whatever the new is. What does that look like for y'all in terms of tracking and measuring? What's that process like?
Oh, I love this question. I love this question. So, this is one of those things that, yes, I want more. And especially, I came from Thermo Fisher Scientific, and this is, Fortune 200 company that measures. It's a scientific company. Like every day, every month, marketing's being grilled of how many leads are you generating? What's the funnel looking like? How are you accelerating funnel velocity? What are your MQL goals? What are your SQL goals? So I'm very much come from this world where it's it's drilled in you that, marketing can be measured, it will be measured, and you need to be showing results. There is, oh, sure, awareness activities are nice, but what are you doing to drive that bottom line? Because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. And especially when you're a public company, you got to be contributing. So, in coming into Nanosonics, it's been more of a build, and there's definitely some systems that we're currently looking to upgrade, and so that we can get much more robust data here and be much more, finger on the pulse and able to pivot quickly. So it's one of the pieces that I'm really excited to be working with Heather on as well, and building out the CRM systems, better utilizing those different tools. Because at the end of the day, yeah, it's oh gosh, at one point I had heard someone say, "Oh, well, you can't measure marketing." Oh, I just died. I'm like, no, absolutely not. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Even in the 80s, you could measure marketing with phone, special 800 numbers. And so that mindset, it's just,
Right.
it's getting away to no, you can actually measure almost everything.
Yes.
And even in brands, it's amazing what Interbrand does.
Yes.
That's a very scientific formula. So I am a big fan, and it's something that we're actively building out now. So I am so excited to see where we're going to be about a year here.
That's awesome. Yeah, everything can be measured. It just takes time and money, but everything can be measured and should be. Measurement's important. You talked about your CRM, and I love when marketing people talk about CRMs because some companies that is owned by sales and some it is ignored by marketing. What's the relationship for y'all? Are sales and marketing kind of integrated? Do you play nice together? Are you siloed? What's the approach?
We are besties. We
Good.
might get matching tattoos.
Love it.
I'm not sure, but yeah, pretty much. So I'm talking to the senior vice president of sales pretty much every day, and that's the way I look at it. And I don't look at marketing supporting sales or vice versa. It's a partnership. I mean, we're both here to hit company goals, and it's hey, what can marketing do to help sales? What can we do to this, generate this interest? What are we doing? And then, passing the baton. So we are extremely tied with them. They do own the CRM platform, but then, we've got our marketing module in it because we want to make sure the leads we're generating are flowing to them, that they are good leads. Because, you can always there's always some percentage, right? That's just going to be junk. It's going to be bots filling stuff out, et cetera, et cetera. So like, we got to make sure, because otherwise, if we're doing a bunch of stuff and sales and it doesn't benefit sales or they don't care, why are we doing it? I mean, if we're going to trade shows and it's not resulting in any leads and we don't have another measurement, or we're doing some campaign that is not tied in what the focus sales is doing, I mean, we're the same team. So we need to be working together on that. And the CRM is the critical piece of connecting those efforts and seeing like, is what marketing is doing is driving results for the sales team that are effective. So they own it, they should, but we are very much a stakeholder in that.
Well, to answer your question, because we always do it.
Oh, the trade show?
Yeah. You said, why do we do it if it didn't help us? Well, we do it that way. Why are you asking questions? Hush.
That's one of my favorite stories about the we've always done it. So a mentor of mine told me a while back that he had a conversation with a woman who was making Thanksgiving dinner, and specifically a ham, and she was teaching her daughter what to do. And so she said, the first thing you do is you take the ham and you cut the two ends off and put it in the pan. And the daughter's like, why do you cut the two ends off? You're taking away like 20% of the meat. And she said, well, that's how your grandmother taught me. And the daughter's like, that makes no sense. So she calls her mom and says, Mom, I'm teaching my daughter how to make the ham for dinner, and I'm cutting the ends off just like you told me. Why do we do that? And she goes, well, that's how my mom taught me. Hold on. So the conference call in the great grandmother, and they're like, what the heck? The great grandmother starts killing herself laughing and says, for all these years, y'all have been cutting the two ends off the ham? And they're like, yeah. Why? She goes, because I only had a pan this big. That's what would fit.
Yeah. I mean, perfect segue there. I mean, a lot of times, when I first came in, there was a ton of trade shows that we were going to,
Right.
but a lot of the sales reps would complain afterwards and be like, oh, that was such a waste of time that the sales reps were staffing it. And I'm like, well, why are we going to these shows if, the reps are feeling like they're wasting their time? And then it's like, well, how else are we going to reach those customers? And I'm like, oh, let me tell you about the digital world.
Right.
Let me tell you how we can target people online now. And then, yeah, it was like the eye-opening like that. Okay, that was no, that we're just trying to reach this audience. Oh, we've got a dozen other ways to reach that audience. So I think a lot of times it's going back to like, what is the goal?
Right.
What are we actually trying to achieve here? Because people get so caught up in individual tactics that you got to get clear what you're actually trying to achieve first.
Yeah. Yeah. We can't do the things we've always done. We've got to find new ways to do it. And it's got to start with a strategy. Who are we talking to? Why should they listen to us? What message is going to connect with them? And where do we put that message?
And how are they going to, remember it? Like get that stickiness as well,
Yep.
because,
Do you have a
there's
team?
a lot of messages.
How big is your team that you work with that helps all this happen?
So on my direct team here in North America, my marketing team, there are 6 of us. And then at headquarters, so again, we're now one team, but just differentiating by where people sit in the world. At headquarters, I believe there's about another 10 or 12. I have to look at the latest numbers. And then we've got a few folks in Europe. I believe it's 2 or 3 over there now, and a few folks in Japan. So, if we're to somewhere in the neighborhood of 20-25 are focused on marketing throughout the world for Nanosonics.
Yeah.
Do you
One
feel
of our-
that's, I'm sorry, Jackie, is that
You're
a
good.
good sized team for you? Or do you feel like y'all are stretched a little bit with what you have to do every day?
I think that no matter where you go in the world, you always feel under-resourced, both and people and budget. I mean, at Thermo Fisher, I watched some of the teams grow, like the molecular biology marketing team. When I first started there was like 4 people. And I think by the time I left, there was probably about 24 people. And they felt just as stressed when there was 24 as when there was 4.
That's
because
the
it's
truth.
always growing.
Yeah.
With the business. So I think you always want more, but it's also about boxing, like, all right, well, here's what we have. So let's make sure that we're focused on the right pieces, because there's no shortage of ideas and things to do. But so we'll take more people, sure. But also at the same token, it's there's definitely a great, very talented group of people working on the team now in their different areas. So it's just making sure we're focused on the right areas and not running around spinning ourselves in circles that don't go anywhere.
Right.
Jackie's going to submit her application later. So
Oh, I'm all in. I'm all in. I can live on the West Coast. I can occasionally go to Australia. I
right?
can learn to surf. I'm all in.
yeah, I'm going to lose her
I
altogether.
think we do have some roles in headquarters, so you might just have to go
Yes.
straight to
Sunshine's
Australia.
going to be my personal surfing coach.
We can make it
Cannot
happen.
compete. I can't compete.
No.
I'll miss you.
No.
I'll miss you.
No.
Fringe
I'll miss you
benefits
too.
here. Yeah, this is.
You can come visit. Michael and I recently went back and visited where I lived in West LA, for so many years. And I think finally, maybe for the first time in this trip, because we've done the trip a few times, but for the first time realized just how special a place that can be and why it was so hard to leave it, because it's nice.
It was a perfect week. The weather was perfect. It was just lots of restaurants outside, sitting at the Marina Del Rey. It was like a really nice week. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. But you guys need to get in the water and surf.
No.
Then you got to
I'm-
come back.
That's
I don't
it's
get
a reason to visit.
Yeah, there's a
Too
rule,
over.
Sunshine, with me. I went to high school in Florida and different coasts,
Okay.
but in the Panhandle is where all the sharks are, and so literally that's where most bites take place. So I don't get in water with things like that anymore. I just don't do it. I figured there's too many ways that of the world can hurt me. I'm not going to give it an opportunity to do it intentionally. So I watch people in the water and have fun.
There are
It's the
wave
shark's
pools
house.
nowadays. There's wave pools.
Right.
Yeah.
There's plenty. And hey, we're getting ready to go on that trip on the cruise. There's a flow rider. You can test
Oh.
your skills out there.
Those days are behind me, Jackie. I'm sorry. I don't lift
But-
pianos. I don't lift refrigerators. I
This
don't
is
run
true.
marathons. There's things that I just don't do anymore. I just don't. Because if I fall or get hurt or something like that, then there's just too much recovery. So I'm not that I'm lazy. I just, again, no heavy lifting. No, because I used to lift pianos the whole time. That was something we always did. Move a piano, move a fridge, have a truck, we'll move. No, we don't do that anymore. You have to pay me a lot of money to do that now. Then I'll just pay somebody else.
Wow. Well, then you know what? You can be a cabana boy and take some photos of Jackie surfing.
There it is. There's a skill for him.
I can bartend. I will sit. I will do fine with that.
And I kind of joke on that. My friend Izzy owns Surf Diva, and she always like has the t-shirts of the Cabana Boys for the guys. So
Yes.
it's all in good fun there. But
Well, I like to do a lot of snorkeling when we travel. And so Michael will sit on the boat and have beverages with the bartenders and take pictures of me in the water. So I think it's a good deal.
oh, there you
Not in
go.
a creepy
Yeah,
way. That
already
sounds
working
creepy.
out, so.
No, it doesn't sound creepy. It sounds like I get good pictures of me when I'm snorkeling. And then he also says he's on Shark Watch. So whatever.
I am.
I mean, like I don't have the stats on how many people get bit by sharks every year, but I
None.
do know more people die from vending machine accidents than
Yes.
shark attacks.
No, you're
So-
probably right. Well, I figure
Yeah.
you're safe though, because if you're surfing, you're high velocity, high speed. You're always on the move. That's my rationale.
Sure.
We'll go with that. Yes.
Sunshine,
we'll
don't
go
don't
with
judge
that.
me for my fears. I'm somewhat normal most of the time, but when it comes
That
to
is not
No,
true.
I'm just saying,
Why are you
like, you
lying
should
to
be
her?
much more worried about the vending machines.
Yes.
that is, I must have to look that up because that is frightening. That's frightening. I'm trying to figure out how that happens.
Just falls on him.
I don't know, electrocution,
Pull
get
something
your
out.
hand stuck inside. I mean, there's a
Yes.
whole lot of things that can happen.
Yes.
And I
It could happen.
love a good vending machine. You know me.
He does. He does. He's a big fan. He keeps a number of them in downtown Lafayette in business.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't have you guys had any vending machine businesses on your podcast?
We have not, but maybe
No.
I'll need to go find one now.
Oh, it's like getting a prize. You put money in, you get a prize. It's like literally a fun activity.
You're buying something. There's no price.
I
You're
know,
buying
but
something.
the way it's delivered, you get to watch it fall. It rolls out, and you're like, and you're hoping that what you get is what you paid for, because you never know. You may want a Diet Coke and you get a Diet Pepsi or something, or they get, something totally random. And sometimes it's not a bad thing. Sometimes it is, but you just don't know. And that's the fun, Jackie. See, you guys surf. I'm gonna go to vending machines, and we all have our joys.
He surfs. I wear a wetsuit. You go to vending machines. It's three very distinct things happening here.
Yeah, the very same. I mean, almost identical.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear there are vending machines that are like mystery boxes that, yeah, you put your like money in and you don't, it's some, mystery box. So, hey,
Absolutely.
really is treasure.
And I'm so sorry for taking us off context here. We
So
had a
far
very
off. I don't
serious-
even know how to get us back on track.
We had a very serious guest talking about very serious things, and now we're like talking about vending machines. So that was me. I own that. That was on me.
And yet you are so great at this. So you get to come back next time.
Fantastic. I
Sunshine.
think you were asking about headquarters.
Yes.
And
Yes. I was
Australia,
actually talking
so-
about international marketing. I was going to talk about, we have a US based client that is owned by a company in Japan, and the challenges and interesting opportunities when we meet with them at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and how I have to really kind of get my head around protocol and behaving, because I typically don't in meetings. And so, it's
You mean the
just different.
Japanese board did not get your humor, Jackie?
They did not even get a chance to see it, Michael. I knew I needed to put that in my pocket and keep it there.
Good. I'm proud of you.
Right.
Yes.
But I do hear they have pretty good vending machines in Japan.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, you might
Sunshine,
wanna-
way to bring it back around.
So keep that one warm.
His sister's in Japan right now, and I'm sure she's actually standing at a vending machine at this moment.
That's right. She is.
You have to text her right after this.
Exactly. We have to find out what she vended today. All right. I'm going to get us back on track to wrap up. Sunshine, you were a delight, a pleasure. This was awesome. Thank you for your insights. We will be sure to put into the show notes how the people can find you, because everybody's going to want to see that LinkedIn picture of you curling the wave.
Love it. Love it. Can't wait. Thanks so much, you guys. Been really enjoying
Thank you.
this hour
Look,
with
she gave a
you.
little hang loose.
I
Thank
know,
you very
I
much.
saw it. That was awesome. We're so geeking on you right now. We're like, yeah, she gave us the sun.
We're in the club. We're in the club. Sunshine, it was great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
What am I to do when the day is through?
We're such nerds.
Yes. Yes, we are total nerds, but I love these conversations. They're so inspiring to me.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah, she reminds me of like the entire crowd at the Indigo Girls. Like it was all
Yes.
just hippie West
Yes.
Coast.
How about
you
the
know.
fact that she had multiple girls named Sunshine in her class going to school?
That was awesome. That was worth
Right?
listening to for that story.
Right?
The fact that it wasn't just one, but like five,
Yeah.
Where she say that was the name where the Malibus, where names like that come from, or something.
Yes.
However she said it, but yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So her name
Yeah.
is Music. I mean, imagine being named Music. Hey, Music.
I
I
love
didn't
it.
ask her if she's musical. I hope she
I know.
is.
But now I feel like we've done a disservice to our children.
I know. Lame.
Lame.
I don't know. I like their names. They are common.
They're fine.
To a certain
But imagine
extent.
how much cooler they would be if they had cooler names.
Yeah. Like Kool-Aid.
Oh.
There's a
Kool-Aid
football player named
McKinstry.
Kool-Aid. Yeah.
We have one who plays for the Saints right now.
Yeah.
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 Reagan is going to wonder where in the world she should edit this thing. So I'm going to say goodbye.
All right. Bye.